Be sure to subscribe and click on the bell for notifications on future uploads. Hello everyone, Someone Bard here, or you can call me Zoe. Well, with the 4th of July around the corner, I figured it'd be nice to do a review of one movie that is set during the holiday, and one that is an animated film that came out in the year of 2016. And one that is very bizarre in its concept and execution. It's the most recent animated theatrical movie to receive an R rating, which was pretty much showcased in all its advertising, and released by Sony and which is the production company of Seth, Rogan, and Evan Goldburg, named after the school they went to, and released on August 12, 2016. Sausage Party. In a grocery store called Shopwell's, during a 4th of July sale, all the foods are happy to be picked by the humans they call gods, and taken to what they call the great beyond to be loved and cared by them. And a sausage named Frank, voiced by Seth Rogan, and a bun named Brenda, voiced by Kristen Wiig, are excited to be together when they're picked for Red, White, and Blue Day, which is what they call the holiday. But a honey mustard, voiced by Danny McBride, who was once picked to enter the great beyond and then returned, tries to warn the picked groceries that the great beyond isn't all love and sunshine, and, inadvertently, causes a shopping cart crash, leaving Frank and Brenda behind, along with a bagel named Sammy Bagel Jr., voiced by Edward Norton, and a lavash bread named Kareem Abdul-Lavash, voiced by David Krumholtz. And as the four of them travel back to their aisles, Frank tries to find out the truth about the great beyond from the non-perishable items Firewater, voiced by Bill Hader, who also voices Tequila and El Guaco, Mr. Grits, voiced by Craig Robinson, and a Twinkie named Twink, voiced by Scott Underwood. In the meantime, a taco named Teresa Del Taco, voiced by Salma Hayek, helps the others escape from a douche, voiced by Nick Kroll, who's been drinking the juices of drinks to grow more stronger and attempt to kill Frank and Brenda for ruining his chances in the great beyond, and for ruining his nozzle. All the while, two other sausages named Barry, voiced by Michael Cera, and Carl, voiced by Jonah Hill, discover the truth of the great beyond, and Barry attempts to go back to Shopwell's with the assistance of a druggie, and yes, that is his name, voiced by James Franco, who can see the living groceries while on bath salts. Oh, and there's Paul Rudd, who voices Darren, and Anders Holm, who voices Troy. Directors Conrad Vernon and Greg Tiernan had made an okay film for something that's R-rated and animated, with okay characters, an okay story, and fine animation. While I did initially dislike it for being uninteresting and dull, despite some of it being okay, I'm surprised that very little has changed with it. But I still give it credit for being a big risk. Sure, all the food-related puns are hammered in as much, or even more so, than the Merry Melody cartoon, like the singer Meatloaf being a meatloaf, and horseradish being a horse. But at least in those merry melodies, the items come to life at night when the stores are closed and no humans are around. Yet here, the items are in their own world and no humans know that they're alive, unless they're drugged. But there's also sexual jokes, movie references like In the Heat of the Night, Saving Private Ryan, and Terminator 2 Judgment Day, and even some stereotypes and even food-related puns on those stereotypes as well, like juice being Jews. But they're not as bad as I originally let on, but there's rarely or never a point where I was laughing at it. There's also this running gag of douche making an expression every time he speaks, and the food related to that expression appears, and he tells them to buzz off. For instance, when he said light bulb and gaining an idea, a light bulb appears behind him, and when he says the words ketchup, a ketchup bottle is shown. Yet, even given its okay bits like its crazy ending, nice 2D animated sequence, fourth wall breaking finale, and clever use of saturation where it's bright and colorful from the food's perspective and it's muted and great from the human's perspective, it's quite an ambitious one. Though Brenda's design is the most suggestive design I've ever seen, and how they got away with it is beyond me. And there's even music co-composed by Alan Menken. And yes, Christopher Lennertz is the other composer, but Alan's a major one here since he did the music for the opening song, The Great Beyond, which is, in my opinion, an okay song. In fact, originally, Alan wrote 5 songs for the film, but the makers only went with the first song as it's the main hook for the whole film. Though it's not surprising that Alan worked on something that he's not always associated with, like his work on Disney films, as he also done Little Shop of Horrors, which isn't as adult as Sausage Party, but has some swears and a small body count, maybe even more. But with all of that, and jokes that are too clever for their own good, like this character Gum being smart because he was under the desk of a brilliant scientist, I can't say it's as good as people said it is. Yet, I can't say it's bad either. But overall, it's not as bad as I originally thought. It's an okay mix of clever setups and cartoony humor for adults, despite that all humans in the film have nothing to eat. So I give this movie 2.5 mixed American stars. And that is it. So thank you for joining me. Like, comment, subscribe, follow on Facebook or Twitter, support me on Patreon. Tune next time for a new video. And have a happy 4th of July.